Your voice, your vote. We're zeroing in tonight on the race for Indiana governor. It's going to be a big one on the ballot in November, and there's a lot of interest in that race in southern Indiana. Republican Governor Eric Holcomb is finishing up his second and final term in the Hoosier State, a Republican stronghold overall. But is there a chance his seat could flip blue? Isaiah Kim Martinez is talking to a well-known name on the Democratic ticket who's confident this year's election will be a tight one.
Election Day is facing voters in Jeffersonville and other Hoosier cities, where the governor's race is front and center. How closely are you following the Indiana governor's race?
Very closely. I try to keep up with Jennifer as much as I can, and Terry, since he's from southern Indiana.
Campaign signs are everywhere in the North Haven neighborhood, supporting each candidate hoping to lead the state. I talked to voter Catherine McBride.
It's very important to support the people who grew up around here, because they know the problems that we go through every day.
It's Republican U.S. Senator Mike Braun versus Democrat Jennifer McCormick. Braun, a businessman by trade who's served in the Senate since 2019. McCormick, an educator and former Republican superintendent of public instruction in Indiana before she switched parties. Her running mate,
So I live in Austin.
former Indiana State Representative and school superintendent Terry Gooden, the family name known well across southern Indiana.
I live on the farm there and we raise beef cattle with my twin brother Jerry.
His brother Jerry, the popular sheriff in Scott County. How much are you guys trying to appeal to a state that is so heavily red?
Well, what we're looking at is we want to let people know that Indiana has gone in the wrong direction, and we really don't feel like that Indiana is so red. We think it's a purple state with a voter turnout problem. And we've had a lot of moderate Republicans come to us and say, hey, listen, I can't put a sign in my yard because my uncle will break my dinner plate, right? But we're going to vote for you. And there's silent majority out there.
We tried multiple avenues to reach the Braun campaign to interview him or his lieutenant governor candidate Micah Beckwith, but didn't get a response.
Well, I think we've got two very good choices. I don't know who I'm going to vote for.
Instead, we talked to Republican Jeffersonville Mayor Mike Moore for perspective. He sees the economy and education as top issues in this governor's race.
I really like Braun's conversation on the economy and getting a hold of inflation, but I love the motivation behind Jennifer McCormick talking about public schools.
Does Moore think this seat could flip blue for the first time in more than 20 years?
That's not a long shot anymore. I think it's down to a couple of points, and I think if anybody wants to take the state of Indiana for granted and say we're solid red, watch out on election night, because I think Jennifer McCormick's going to give Mike Braun one heck of a race.
But, well, one thing I know, Mike Moore certainly knows the reality of Indiana. It's a Trump state where Mike Pence was once governor for a while there. Does that give Braun the edge in the end, Isaiah? What did you hear from them today?
Well, Doug, ultimately the thought is he has the edge and will have the edge continuing into November. More than likely, if you're a betting man, Mike Braun is going to get the governor's seat. But it's been interesting in recent weeks. Both sides can acknowledge there have been gaffes made by Braun's campaign. We heard about that ad where there was digital modifications that they went back and had to add on a disclaimer. And then we've heard the lieutenant governor has said some things that even some Republicans have bristled at. So does that make the race a little closer and more interesting? That's what we're looking at.
If the Democrat were to win, it'd be a similar setup in Kentucky, controlled by the Republicans in Indiana.
Very similar. That's the thing with Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear is, okay, he's the governor, but ultimately there's super majorities on both sides. Republicans control. Same situation in Indiana, no matter what happens.
All right. Thank you very much. We want to give you some key dates to mark on your calendar. This coming Monday, October 7th, the deadline to register to vote in both Kentucky and Indiana. Early voting in Indiana begins October 8th. In Kentucky, it's October 31st through November 2nd. Election Day, of course, Tuesday, November 5th.